what I've heard from the elder that's not long or with us, that the massacre happened in the spring of 1985, I believe it is, that there was people died in that event because of, I'm going to try to translate the Cree. He used High Cree with me, and this was a long time ago. I'm 70 years old now, and this was quite a while back, now. So he was an elder that time, so I'll try to my best to interpret the Cree to English the best way that'll make sense. I try to make sense with it. Now that there's a massacre that happened in the spring of '85, that there was killings done there, that there was 2 parties involved, at least 2 parties. One was the Indian agent, the government, I guess that's the government's agent, and the other part was the Crees. Now he said those Crees weren't part of Frog Lake Reservation. They were like visiting for the winter, or how long they visited, I'm not too sure. He said they were just visiting. They were not part of Frog Lake. That's what he said. They were not part of us here. That the thing that happened, what he stressed was they're starting to starve those people. Their rations, they're depleting their rations, and I guess also the hunting part was not that great either, and living in, I'm sure there were tents or teepees then, that things got a little bit rough for the Cree people. They were depleting their rations. They needed assistance in surviving, the upcoming spring and the summer. That they asked the Indian agent if they could get help. They were a visiting party. That's what they weren't residents of Frog Lake, so they were living there or most of the winter, and it was spring. Now they're starting to deplete they were on I think he said they were on the outskirts, not within the settlement themselves, but they called them rolling hills or something like that. It's not far from where we went south. It'd be south west a bit from where we went at the monument. That place, there's some hills there. I think that's where they were camped, those Big Bear and his, I don't know if I can call them warriors or men. Men would be better. I don't think warriors sounds like the best thing, because warriors, like, you're hunting people, not only food for food. So that's where they were camped. And they've been asking, according to the elder I listened to, I didn't ask questions while he was talking, because that time when elders speak to you, you listen and you try to capture what they're saying, If there's time at the end, if they want to be questioned, they'll let you know. So that time, I guess, living on the outskirts and running out of rations and asking for help from the Indian agent, I believe Quinn or somebody, Tom Quinn or Thomas Quinn, something like that, was the agent, and refused. And this old man explained, that he said, that means he was a mean fella, that Thomas Quinn. He seems to try to run everything type of thing, he refused right away, no negotiations or anything. So that's when after living in harsh winter, running out of rations, that anger, I guess, set in, not on the big chief, like Stay Masqua, mean Big Bear, it wasn't him that he was the leader of the pack. But then he said he was not there at the time this happened. The leader, their big chief, their Big Bear, not big chief, Big Bear. I'm not sure where he was, but he was not there of the uprise of the violent behavior of wandering spirit. Pamatsako, that's the Cree name of the person that did the uprise. He started the uprise, I guess, because of the situation that they were in, that they had a harsh winter living, and they were starting to starve, and then the refusal of the Indian agent to help, anger sat in, and then I guess that's when the attack, I guess that's when it happened. Now, he didn't tell me exactly if he was the one that shot the Indian agent, but that's when the fighting from the one side started. And I believe anyway there was nine people that died in that result. I think somewhere along the line they were captured, the people, Wandering Spirits little group. I'm not sure how many there were, maybe 6 or 7 group that, didn't listen to their leader. They're not supposed to make that uprise, according to the chief there, Staimaskwa. But somehow things got to that state where the chief wasn't involved. He was away at that time. But as soon as he heard that the uprising was there already being done, though, he came back and tried to stop them, I guess. That's what I've heard from the elder. And I guess they were captured later on and took to prison towards Battleford area, I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm sure that's where he said. There's more than one feeling that goes through, people died there unnecessarily, I believe. There should be some negotiations happening. Why a flat no to those, starving people? I'm sure if I was starving the same way as those people, I'd probably react with anger, but I don't know if I would pull through with the rest. But, there should have been some negotiating done, I think that's a sad way to make a big noise, I know it's hard at that time, I imagine. I have to be there to really feel, but hearing about it, why not do some negotiating? Why was there no, like RCMP or people to be able to negotiate, or at least to stop these people that are going to attack, or negotiations beforehand? I don't understand that, and then why is it that it was ration so scary that time they can't give it out, type of thing. Why is that happening? That shouldn't have happened on both sides. If there was negotiating done somehow by someone, with a little bit of experience, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Well, it's important to know what happened and why it happened, that part. And did we learn anything from it, or anybody learning from it in the government or the people living here? Or that's the part. There's 9 lives. That's lots of lives to lose. For some people saying no, one person may be saying no, or how many people were involved saying no to this, and then uprising of the violence that happened. That's sad. Sad case. What happened? What happened to our country? Not only the Cree people that did the damage, but also the people that were supposed to look after other people, type of thing. What happened? breakdown of negotiations, or I don't know. I don't understand that. Well, I thought first off it didn't have a good impact on being a person from the Frog Lake Reserve. What the heck, eh? Why are other people like that didn't really live here, or visitors, living in the reserve for that time, and why are they making that noise for us? We're not even the ones that made the noise or the damage, if I may say so. What happened? I don't understand. No, to me it's not a good impact. It's not at all sitting nicely with me. It shouldn't happen. It should have been preventable, but it happened. Now where it took us, or how long it took to kind of regain some respect, I don't know. Did we gain any respect, or did we get damaged goods type of thing? That's what I'm thinking about. Is there, how would I say it, is the government going to let it happen again? The government kind of rules us yet, that. He sets, even though we were working with them, our leadership are working with them, but he still set standards. Now we have to fight some of the way mostly with the words, no more guns. With our intelligent leaders, fighting, the system, bucking the system. No, we don't have to cater to them all the time. They give us paper, you do this, all this, send it back to us. Make sure it's all counted for type of thing, eh? We cater to them, the government. That's how I see it. Still, it's still there, but not in a harsh way, I don't think. Still there, but maybe it's good, maybe it's not too good. It could be both ways. Weighing them, depends who you are and how well you're set. If you're a poor guy, it's kind of difficult sometimes. Anger sets in, and I see that happening. There's still some violence, but not towards the government so much, but uproars a little bit here and there. Yeah, the part that's still, when those people that went to trial, I believe in Battleford, not given a fair trial. Sure, they murdered, but the justice system wasn't just there it was kind of one-sided, let me put it that way. And if I offend the leadership or the judges, well, I don't mind, because I think sometimes the system doesn't really work. I think they weren't given the fair trial, according to what I understand, or maybe I misunderstood. First off, there were speaking Cree people, and all in English. And there was no representation like today. We can have access to a lawyer, even though if you don't have the dollars to pay him, there's that, how do you call it, appointed representation when you go to court. That type, they were straight judging themselves. And how can you speak for yourself if you're if you're the accused? It's pretty hard. It's one way, I think. I think they were at least given a chance to access somebody that kind of speaks for them, that understand the law, and let them speak their piece. What was it? Did they even say why? Did they even ask why they did this? Whether that wouldn't bring back the people that are gone, but at least have a justification of some sort. Listen to us a little bit before you hang us. They all got hanged, right? That's what I heard. The ones that did that, there were 6 or 7 people anyway, hanged at the same time. That's supposed to be a lesson for us, not to do it again, yes, maybe. But what is the lesson for them? I don't see it fair. Let me put it that way. Even now, sometimes we don't get fair shake at things, but we have some representation. That's the good thing now. I see it that way.
What do you think the lesson should be for them, for the Crown, for Canada?
For them, that time they should be represented. Somebody should have represented them. Even though it could have still end up the same, but at least some representation. Somebody, I don't know who would that be, but maybe somebody that understands a little bit of Korean knowledge of the law or something like that is my... I don't think the last part, I don't like the massacre. That's violent, really violent word, I would think. There should be some word, I don't know myself, but some word to change to, a little easier setting. I would think softer, I don't know, because it didn't just take the Crees to do this. It started someplace. We have to look at that. There's two sides to everything when that happens. So massacre really cuts it right there. No, I don't think that should be the word. Now, to ask me what word would you like, I don't know. I'd have to really put my thought on it. Well, it's important to have history, but I'm not sure the true history. Sometimes we get history that's somebody writes it or even talks about it. It's hard to be saved or to save it. Is that the real thing? Even like for my part, I'm already third or fourth hand information. So how much did I lose it, or how much did I not understand it, or type of thing. So it's hard to say. History is good, at least that rough idea what would it is, say, oral or written. Some has their versions, everybody has their own versions. Try to remember what, the history was like. For me, where I grew up, my part of growing up, I know what happened, I was born to one log cabin, no bathroom, no running water, no, all that, wooden heater, that part. I'm saying it to my children. They kind of laugh at me. Is that right, Dad? Yeah, it's right. That's where I grew up. But along the way, there improvements happened. We got houses. Still no running water, no bathroom. More along the way, there was finally running water. We had electricity. Now, at this point, I guess we're in very good shape when you have a new house that there's all the goodies that come along with it that we didn't have when we were growing up. Now I tell that to my daughter, really? I had to walk to school. I didn't have a bus stopping in at the road or at my place picking me up back then. But along the way it got better, right? So that history, I'm telling it the way I saw it now. If I told my daughter, if he tells it, whether he'll tell it exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. Or my grandchildren, will they tell it the way I seen it? I don't know.
It's true.
And that's why I'm saying, I'm just listening to the elder, speaking it in High Cree. I understand Cree pretty good, but there was some High Cree. Like, I understand English, but there's high words that I don't understand. For me, the importance is, okay, there's a lesson here. People died here. Why they died, or how they died, or what did the people die for? That lesson, to me, is important. What happened? What was missing then that would have prevented the massacre, if we may call it. It's called that now. That part kind of puzzles me. What the heck was going on? Why this happened?